As part of our VIP Mastermind program, which is the best program for mentoring and coaching that I offer, we do 2 events per year. They're 2-day events. They include my marketing team leader, and we go through things that are holding people back, do a lot of training, do a lot of role plays. On part of those role plays, we do role plays where you might be getting board members, law firms, accounting firms, sellers, prospects, financial institutions, all of those things. And one of the things that my marketing team leader and I consistently see is how poor the listening skills are, which is not unusual at all. But what's interesting is a lot of people use scripts, templates. They're nervous, especially if they're talking to big hitters. And as a result of that, they're more concentrated on what are they going to say next than listening to what they're hearing. And as a result of that, as we said a couple of times when we were on the other side of the role play, and we gave them openings, we gave them opportunities, that they miss those. They get those softballs, as we would call them, thrown to them and just let them go by. So you might be talking to a seller, and the seller might say, if you talked about buying the business and asked whether or not they ever thought about retirement or what comes next. Yeah, I think about that every day. This is very frustrating. And the mentee would go on and say something else, as opposed to saying, frustrated, can you tell me about that? What frustrates you? Etc., etc. Another one frequently with gatekeepers that we did was that there were people that were running into, no, the owner doesn't take unsolicited calls from sales calls. Okay, so you are not an unsolicited sales call. You're actually calling to purchase a business. And so when one of the mentees in the role play heard, no, the owner doesn't take unsolicited sales calls, he went into why he thought it would be of interest, rather than saying unsolicited sales calls. Oh, I'm sorry. I must have misspoke, because this is not a sales call. And so that will separate yourself. Think about all the people who are calling these businesses, whether that's private equity, whether that's other people like yourself. Well, when I say other people like yourself, one of your goals is to sound different than all these people. So think about what I'll refer to and what Chris Voss called an accusation audit. What are the things you're going to hear, and what are your answers to them? A lot of times, if we say an unsolicited sales call, for instance, there'll just be a blank stare in the role play on the other side. The person doesn't know what to say. So think about that. If I hear we get a lot of calls like this, what am I going to say? What's different about this call than all the other ones I get? Think about that. That could be your board. That could be the deal structure, that you only want to buy a portion of the business. It could be any number of things. But write down what separates you from other people calling, first of all. This is a cold call oftentimes. You don't have very long to separate yourself, probably 4 to 8 seconds, and have that person decide if they want to continue to listen to you. So it's important to do that. One of the things that ends up contributing to not listening is, as we've talked about, thinking about what you're going to say next. But you can't do 2 things at once. You think you can, but you really can't do that very well. So if, for instance, you are talking to somebody and a notification comes up on the computer and you see that notification, you'll almost probably read that. And in that 5 seconds or whatever it is, you'll probably not hear what the person is saying. A lot of people have an iPad near them or a phone near them. And we're all trained when we see text messages to go ahead and look at those. Most people do it within 3 seconds. So you might be talking to somebody on a Zoom call, a text message comes in, and you try your best not to look like you are, but you look at that text message and try to read it. And guess what? When you're reading it, you're probably not hearing what that person says, and a great opportunity might go by you. So I would encourage you to limit your distractions, stay focused on the call at hand, and remember that listening is much harder than most people think, and that if you listen, you will be given buying opportunities, signals, problems, pain points, all those things that then you can use to successfully manage that call and hopefully make that sale. Listening to pain points, listening to frustrations, listening to what separates you from other people, all of that's critical. So I hope that helps. If you're wondering how to start these conversations, go over to brucewhipple.com. You're going to see the Conversation Starters free class. Just enter your email and that'll be emailed to you. If you want to go there directly, just brucewhipple.com/free course. So remember distractions and eliminating them, and remember listening. Super important.